I'm going to do an overview of the Taurus Thunderbolt Rifle in 45 Colt long. Basically what this is like a repro of the old, I think it was called the Colt Lightning Rifle or Carbine. It's a pump action rifle. The one Taurus makes is a fairly good copy of it. There are several different ones out on the market. I think I paid about $600 for this one. The other ones all go over $1,000 made by the other companies. There's 2 or 3 companies that make them. I believe Uberti makes one and markets it under Cimarron Arms. It's got this dark stock with a plain finish. The pistol grip or pump grip is checkered. It's got a 26-inch blue barrel with a case hardened. I got the case hardened receiver on this one. I think they make this in a stainless and a blue. I don't know if Taurus still is actually manufacturing these anymore, but you can still find them in gun dealer stocks. It's got a 15-round tubular magazine and a 26-inch long barrel with a blade front sight. Pretty nice deep blue on there, and with the color case hardening, it's a real nice looking gun. Buckhorn sights, you know, they're adjustable for elevation, and you are dovetailed in so you can do your windage with the front sight. Now it's a pretty close replica of the Colt original. There are a few different things. There's a Taurus lock in here, safety lock. I think it's on the back of the hammer, where you use a little Allen wrench. And there's an interesting little decocking mechanism here, which I'll take this and I'll set the camera up and I'll manipulate this. The thing about it is to load it, you have to have the bolt back in order for the loading gate to open. There's been some reviews on YouTube. People don't like it because of jamming. About the only bad thing about this gun is to disassemble it is extrememely difficult, and there are no clear instructions. Basically, the owner's manual tells you to take it to a gunsmith. And take a look at the other side of it. And that could be expensive. I did take this apart, clean all the gunk out of it, which I think has a lot to do with it malfunctioning or people saying it jams, because it does come packed in grease. And it was a 3-hour ordeal to get this apart and back together again, so I don't recommend taking it apart. I don't like the idea of just blowing it out with like gun scrubber. That's about the only downside to it. I cleaned out the inside, cleaned the grease out, oiled up everything, and actually I believe the way the gun is, it should wear in. And the only problem I had when I go to the video where I shoot is I didn't close the battery all the way. And the hammer went down, but the gun wasn't locked, it didn't go off. That was the only malfunction I've had so far with this gun. Okay, now I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to show you how this safety half cock works here and how the action works. And I got to pick the gun up and manipulate, so I'm going to position the camera and we're going to take a look at that. Okay, now we'll take a close-up look at the action. It's got a dust cover in that like the originals, I guess. Now to load this, you'd have to slide it back and then the gate will open all the way and function, where it doesn't do that. And there, I don't know if you can see inside the cartridge lifter and all that, and you load your rounds in, and there's no way to, you know, then the gun has to have the hammer load, and then you would rack the action back to get one up in, pick up with the lifter, and then you're ready to go. Now this gun has a very interesting thing. I don't know if the originals have it or not. If you look, there's a little button here. And I guess this is the only safety. And what this button is you depress this button and there's a pin that runs down through the hammer and lifts it up off the sear. And when you do that, be careful. You push down on this button, kind of going back with the hammer. That was hard to see. I'll do it again. You kind of push down on the little button there, and that's connected to a pin that lifts that hammer up off the sear and drops it into this half-cock position. I guess that's your only safety. The trigger won't do anything, and the gun is basically can be carried loaded and locked. The slide won't work, so when you're in this half-cock position, the gun is locked and loaded. Then all you'd have to do is pull it back, and then you're ready to go. And it does, on the bottom of the hammer, have that little Taurus where you use the Allen wrench to lock the action up that way also as a safety feature. And that's about it. Other than the fact it's extremely difficult to disassemble and clean this, and there is no instructions or method on how to do it, not in the manual or anything. Other than that one downside, this is a very nice shooting gun. I'm going to have a couple videos where I shoot this, and for the price, like I said, it's you can still find them. They're under $1,000. There's other models or there's other people that make a replica gun like this, but they all cost over $1,000. So the Taurus is a buy, and I think it's worth it, and it works fine for me.